Hey guys, welcome to a tutorial on how to build a landing page. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how to build a page that looks exactly like this. This is one that I did as a case study for Paco Lebron's Business Prodigy Techs. This is a tech site builder website, and what I did was I created this Windows crash repair landing page. So this is a page that you would direct ads to. So things like AdWords ads and Google ads and stuff like that. The primary objective of this page is to capture leads of people who are interested in this particular service. So you want to have as few distractions as possible. You want to have it very focused on the lead capture form here, but then you also want the key information, and then you do want to give folks the opportunity to browse the rest of your services if they're interested in learning more. So that's the basic gist of this landing page. So what this landing page is this is actually a modification of one of Paco's service pages, and that is this one here, the computer laptop crash repair. So we already had kind of the content already set up. He has a form already on there. And this is a good setup for a service page, because a service page is something that people are going to browse to when they've landed on another page on your website, and they're browsing around looking for information. They say, "Oh, you have a service on computer crash repair. Let me read about it." And then you give them the opportunity to contact you with a form or a call to action at the bottom. Whereas a landing page, or a squeeze page as they're sometimes called, you really want to have that contact form above the fold, front and center. Make it really easy for people to fill that out, because that's your main objective with these pages. So let's talk about how to build it. So the first thing you want to do is head on over to your admin toolbar or the dashboard and click to create a new page. And then we are going to give it a name. So I'm going to call this Windows Crash Repair Demo. A couple things we want to do right off the bat is we want to come over here to where it says Page Attributes on the right hand side, and from the template drop down we want to choose full width. So we want to give our canvas that we're going to build a page on the entire width of the browser window, so that we can do things like have a full width background and kind of, you know, have lots of room to play with. So we're going to choose full width there, and then if we scroll down to the layout settings, we're going to choose the layout with no sidebar. So remember, the layout settings is where we can choose if we want the sidebar on the right or the left, or if we want 2 sidebars. In this case, we want 0 sidebars to distract us from this landing page. All right, so I'll go ahead and save those changes by clicking Save Draft. And then I'll click the Page Builder tab to take us into the Page Builder. All right, now I'm in the Page Builder. It asks me if I want to choose a template I've saved. I'm just going to say Cancel so I can get straight to the Page Builder. And now here we are in the Page Builder. So the first thing that I want to do is set up the headline for the landing page. So if you'll notice, and I'll kind of go back and forth between the one I created previously, we have a nice headline at the top here telling you exactly what you're getting by landing on this page. So we first want to go to the row layouts and choose a 1-column row. Bring that over. All right, and then we want to add the heading module. So under Basic Modules Heading, I'm going to drag that over. And then the heading is going to be Windows Crash Repair. I'm not going to link it to anything, just going to be a headline by itself. I'm going to click over to Style. For the text color, I'm going to choose a color from the theme. So in this case, I'm going to use the blue color that's prominent throughout the theme. And I'm going to grab that. If I know the hexadecimal code for that color, I'm going to grab it. Otherwise, I can just use the color chooser to kind of approximate what the color is. All right, I'm going to align it center. I'm going to use H1 so a primary heading for this. And that's about it. So I think that's good. Click Save. So now I have the heading. Now I want to add a subheading. So I'll click on Add Content again. This is a basic module. I'm going to add another heading module. I'm going to drag that right underneath the original heading module I have. In this case, I have as the subheading, we'll fix that annoying blue screen once and for all. So I'll type that in here. We'll fix that annoying blue screen once and for all. Again, it's not going to be a link, but I am going to, again, center it. In this case, I'll leave it as an H3, and I will change the the text color to a slightly lighter gray. So maybe kind of like a medium gray color. That way it doesn't overshadow the main headline, but it's still visible, easily visible. All right, now you notice there's a big space between the headline and the subheadline, and I want to decrease that space. So in all of the modules that you add, if you click on the Advanced tab, this is where you can adjust the margins. So here I'm going to give the subheading a 0 margin at the top. That way it'll come up closer to the title. Click Save. And I think that's a pretty good approximation of how close they are. All right, now I'm going to add a separator to separate the title from the rest of the landing page. So that's going to be under Basic Modules. That's going to be the Separator module. I'll drag that over underneath the title. For the separator, I don't want it to fill the entire width. So instead, where it says width, I'm going to choose Custom. Then I'm going to accept just the default 10%. That looks pretty good. Everything else looks good, so I'm just going to save it. All right, now I'm going to add the 2 columns of information that are underneath the title. So to do that, I'll click Add Content, and I'm going to go to Row Layouts and choose the 2-column row and add that right underneath the separator there. All right, and then the first row is, actually before I get into that, you'll notice there's some padding or some margins here on the right and left sides of these boxes. Since I'm not, using the typical box layout of the rest of the website, I want this row to fill the maximum width that it can fill. So in order to do that, I'm going to click the this icon here, which says Edit Column. And then I'm going to click Column Settings. Then I'm going to go to Advanced. And, oh no, I'm sorry. It's not the column settings. It is, I'm looking for the row settings. That's right. So, because we're talking about the row here is what's giving the padding on the right and left. So way up at the top where it says row, I'm going to choose row settings. Click on that. Then go to Advanced, and there we go. That's where it adds some padding left and right. So for the left padding, I'm going to make that 0. You'll see that jumps over, and then you're going to see this line jump over to the right when I make the right margin 0 as well. So that way now I have the maximum room to the left and right, so I can use the entire space that I have here. So now I'm going to add content to my left column. That's going to be the text editor. Again, that's a basic module. And I'll add the text editor here. And that's where I'll go ahead and just copy and paste what I added originally. You want to keep the content very light on these squeeze pages, especially at the top. You just want to tell people exactly what they're going to be getting or what the service is that you're offering. Not a lot of fluff, not a lot of details, definitely not technical, nothing technical. You want to lead with the benefits. So in this case, Paco's saying that he's building a rapport with his visitors by, trying to let them know that he understands the problem they're having. So he's saying, we've all felt that feeling when turning on your computer to find out your computer crashed. And then we go on to say, here at Prodigy Techs, we are experts at recovering crashed computers. And then we're going to give them a list of how we can help them exactly some of those key benefits from using our service. So I'll put that there. Something else I like to do with the text in landing pages is I like to make it a little bit bigger than normal. So in this case, instead of 16, I'm going to bump it up to 20. That makes it very readable, easily readable, especially on mobile phones. And it just makes it a lot more visually pleasing to have larger fonts there, especially when we're not going to have a lot of text. All right, so the next thing we want to add are these checkboxes that are underneath. So to do that, we're going to go to Add Content, and we're going to choose an Advanced module. So under Advanced Modules, we're going to look for the Icon module. I'm going to drag that over, put that right underneath the text there in that left-hand column. Then I'm going to click the Select Icon link, and that is, let me drag this up here. Now I'm going to search. The cool thing is there's a search box up here where I can search for the type of icon I'm looking for. In this case, I'm looking for a check icon, and I got a lot of options here. I'm going to just go ahead and choose a simple check here at the top. All right, there it is, and you'll see it pops up on the screen there. And then down at the bottom where it says text, this is where I'm going to add the text that's next to each of these check marks. So in this case, the first one is get your data back. So you'll see I am, talking about the benefits that they're going to receive by using my services. One of those benefits is to get their data back. I'm going to save that. What I'm going to do, since I want these checkboxes to be right next to each other, as if they're in a list, I'm going to go into my, let's see, I think it's the column settings. Nope, it's going to be the module settings. Under Advanced, and where it has margins, I'm going to put 0 for the top margin and 0 for the bottom margin. So that way there's not going to be a big space between the check marks. And now what I'll do to, instead of recreating that over and over again, I'm just going to click the copy icon on this particular module and copy that twice. So now that module is all set to go, and all I need to do is click on it and replace the text in the text box. So I don't need to choose the icon again or anything like that. So that's a big time saver if you want to repeat the same type of module over and over again. So in this case, I'm just going to copy and paste the text. You'll notice I am formatting this text as a heading 4. Since I'm copying and pasting it, it's catching that formatting from what I copied. But if I were just starting from scratch, I would need to highlight the text and choose heading 4, etc. Okay, save that, and then I'll edit this one, and I want to copy this text. Have your computer running like new. Replace that. Save. So now we see the benefits. You can get your data back. You're not going to lose your data after a crash. You're going to, we're going to get you back to work quickly. So that's a huge frustration from people, is that when their computer crashes, they can't get their work done. And then finally, we'll have your computer running like new, because as part of the troubleshooting and the repair, oftentimes you'll need to reinstall Windows, or you might need to replace some hardware that's malfunctioning, and all of that will help their computer to run like new. You'll see there's a big space here in between we can help you and get your data back, and that's probably the padding for this module, or the margins for this module. So I will click the Edit Module icon, click Advanced, and then for the bottom margin, I'll make that 0, so that can bring up that checklist. Awesome. And then finally, the last thing we want to do is have an image. In this case, Paco's going with the blue screen of death that you see on Windows 10. So I'll go ahead and add that. Add content, basic module, photo. Drag that under the check boxes or check marks. In the photo module, I'm going to choose my photo source as the media library and then select the photo. And then I'll look for that blue screen of death photo that Paco already uploaded. There it is. Click on that, select photo. All right, and that's it. Everything else I think is fine. I'll leave this as the default. Click Save. Now you'll see it's looking pretty big, but we'll adjust that later. So that's basically what we have in the left-hand column, just the information we want people to know. People are used to viewing web pages left to right, so we want to lead with some information. So first they'll see Windows crash repair, then they'll come down. They'll want to read some information about it, and then we want to kind of guide them over to the right-hand side where we want them to fill out the form. So for this particular form, we're going to use the form builder that's available in the dashboard of your website. So go ahead and set up whatever kind of form you want in the form builder. Once you're done with that, then you'll come back to your page builder here, click Add Content. We're going to go down to Text Site Builder Widgets. The form builder ends up being a widget. And then we'll look for the custom contact form. And we'll drag that over here. And in the settings, we will choose the form we want to use. In this case, it's the PC Laptop Crash Repair form. And then we want to give it a title to let people know what the form is about. So in this case, we're just letting them know that they can get a free estimate by filling out that form. Something enticing to get them to fill out the form. You know, get a free estimate, you know, get a free consultation, something like that. Give them a reason to contact you other than just for the sake of contacting you. So I'll paste that there, nice and capital. Everything's capitalized. Looking pretty good. Click Save. So for the forms, you have to click Save before it'll show up. So now it's showing up, and now we've got some work to do to change the way it looks. What I did with the original form is that I kind of created a background that sets it apart from the rest of the landing page, so that really kind of puts the focus on the form, and then put some space around that so that the form kind of sits on its own here, and it's really standing out. That extra padding around it helps it to stand out more. So in order to do that, what I want to do is click on the column settings. So I'm going to click Edit Column, Column Settings. And then for the column settings, I'm going to change the background. It's going to be the type is color, so that's good. And then the actual background color of the form is again that blue color that matches the branding. That dark blue. Great. And then you'll notice now the font color isn't really conducive to that darker background. So we can come up here and under text, we'll change the text color to white. So now the text really stands out on that dark background. And I also want to change the heading color to make the heading stand out a little bit more. So for the heading color, I'm going to use the orange coloring that matches the orange coloring from Paco's website branding. So that happens to be that. So now we have the orange free estimate that kind of makes that heading stand out, and then they can fill out the form to get the free estimate. Now you'll notice that the button down here used to be a dark blue background, and now because the background of the entire form box is dark blue, it blends into what the button was previously. Now, unfortunately, there's not a nice, easy way to change the button color from within the column settings here or within the module settings. So what we'll need to do is actually do some advanced CSS coding, which isn't really that advanced. I mean, if you're going to be messing around with your website, you should probably just get a quick, very basic level understanding of CSS. That's the type of coding that you can use on websites to change the color of certain elements from within the code. So what we can do in the page builder is we have access to CSS code. If I click on Tools and then choose the layout CSS. This gives me a window where I can add my own custom CSS code that affects only this page. So this CSS will affect only the page that I'm on currently. So what I'm going to do is, if you know how to use the developer tools in Chrome or Firefox, then you can do that, and that's under More Tool. In Chrome, it's under More Tools and Developer Tools. And I have mine off to the side there. There we go. And so this is how you can search for exactly what to target to affect the button here. So I'm going to click this this element selector button here, and if you don't know how to use this, actually I need to close this pop-up first. If you don't know how to use the developer tools, don't worry about it. I'm going to actually give you the code that you need to use. But in case you want to do this for other pages and you want to figure this out for other pages, this is how you do it. You open the developer tools, click the icon here, hover over the element you want to change. So in this case, it's the submit button, and now that's highlighted, and then I'll click. So now that's selected, and it highlights the line of code that is generating that particular button. And so what we want to look for is either the class or ID. So in this case, in class, we have a class designation here, and we can see what classes are being applied to this button element. So it looks like this BTN would be a good, easy class to target. So now that I know the class to target, I can close the developer tools. I can go back into my tools in the page builder, select layout CSS, and then in this layout, I'm going to choose the class of BTN. In order to designate a class, I want to use a period. A period means class, and then type in the class name. In this case, it's BTN. So period BTN, and then a space, and then open curly bracket. And then I want to give it a custom background color. Sorry, background dash color. And in fact, I'm going to make that on its own line to make it easier to read. Background dash color colon, and then this particular text editor or code editor automatically adds the semicolon afterwards, which is what you need in order to close that particular line of code that you're writing. So background dash color colon, and then I'm going to use that orange color that we know and love so well from the branding of Prodigy text. Now, you should notice it change right away. If it doesn't change right away, that means there's other styles that are superseding this particular style. So in order to supersede those, you want to add at the end of your code here, exclamation mark, and then the word important. And that's going to overwrite any style code that might be trying to apply itself to your code. And then I'm going to go down to the last line and do the close curly brace. And now you'll see the color is being applied to the button successfully. So this is kind of the code that you're looking for to change the color of the button. Now you'll notice the button here is full width. So that makes it very easy to click, especially on mobile phones. That makes it a no-brainer for someone to click that button, and they're not going to miss it, or they're not going to, not be able to click it. So in order to make it nice and full width like that, I'm just going to add a new line inside my button brackets here, and I'm going to make that width colon 100%. And again, I'm going to put exclamation mark important to make sure that takes priority, and then you'll see the button took full width. A couple other things I did was make the font size a little bit bigger, maybe something like 18 pixels, make that important. Actually, let's do 20. That wasn't quite big enough. 20. There we go. Now it's nice and big. And then because the white gets lost a little bit in the orange, I'm going to change the font color to be black, which the hexadecimal code for black is just 000, number 000, and then again exclamation mark important and semicolon. Oops, I'm sorry, it shouldn't be font color, it should just be color. There we go. Okay, so now it's black. Awesome. So now we can really see that word submit. We can even change the word submit to something else if we want. You would need to do that in the form builder in the dashboard. I can't change that here from the page builder, but this is good enough for now. I'll go ahead and click Save. And then the next thing I want to do is add that padding around the form. So in order to do that, again, I will click on the column settings. I will go to Advanced, and I'll go to Margins, and I'll give this guy plenty of room to breathe. So maybe like a 40, oh, I'm sorry, not margin, padding. The margin will create space around the colored background, whereas padding will create space inside the colored background, and that's what I want. So padding top 40, padding bottom 40, padding left 40, padding right 40. That's good. You know, you could play around with it and do whatever you want to get it to look visually how you want it to look. But I'd say that'll work for now. All right, so we'll click Save. So now we have our form, and it stands out very well because it's on a dark background, and it's a different background than the rest of the page. Something I would do to even improve this further is instead of using the blue screen image here, I would replace this with the image of a person pointing in this direction. That has been proven to improve the conversion of landing pages by quite a bit. Twofold. Number one, including a person makes the page more relatable and less cold feeling. And then number two, having the person either looking or pointing in the direction of the form you want them to fill out will naturally make the person's eyes gravitate towards the form. So if you could find a picture of a person pointing in this direction, like right to the submit button, then that would be a great way to kind of really round out this landing page and get someone to fill out that form and click submit. Another thing I want to do to really help make this form stand out is I want to make the entire background here be white. Right now it's a little off-white. It's a very light gray, but I want the background to be perfectly white. So in order to do that, I'm going to come up to Row, and I'm going to click the row settings here, and I'm going to change the background down here where it says background. Choose the type of color, choose the color of white, and you'll see now the white background is there, but it's not filling the full screen. So here's the trick for that. If you're adding a background to a row like this, you want to come up to the top where it says width, and instead of fixed, we want to choose full width. So now the white background takes up the full width of the browser. You want to leave the content width fixed so it matches the width of the rest of the website, and everything else we can leave as default. Click Save. So now I have a nice bright white background behind that form to make it really stand out. The last thing you'll notice on the site here, the one I did previously, is a little blurb at the bottom. I really like to do this on landing pages. Oftentimes people, especially with computer repair shops where they're going to be trusting their computer with a stranger, basically, you want to give them some peace of mind. So you want to introduce them to your company a little bit if they decide to scroll down and read more. So I like to add a little biography of the company here. So what I did was just basically click Add Content. I'm going to add another row, just a one column row down here. Oh, it's not letting me scroll. Oh shoot, I did not mean to do that. Okay, let me scroll down here. Let me add a one column to the very bottom to where it takes up the full width. Okay, so here is my new row, and now inside that I'm going to add a text editor. And inside that text editor, basically what I did is I just copied Paco's about page. So we got the content from the about page, I copied it, pasted it there. Above it I added a headline, in this case the Prodigy text difference. And that was I made that a heading 2, H2, and then I center that text. There it is. And then the final thing I did was add an image from the media library of Paco looking fly there in the blazer and the button-up shirt. Add a caption to say who this guy is, and then I'll align it to the right. Won't let it link to anything. Use the medium size. insert into post. I'll click save. Bam, there it is. So just a little blurb, and then the final part of the landing page is to add a button. This is definitely optional, but I thought it might be a good idea to add the button there just in case the person might want to research the company more, see what other services they provide. I included a button straight to his services page. So to do that, click Add Content. It's a basic module button. Drag that over, let it go, and then we'll change some of the button settings. Browse our services. You can add an icon to it if you want. You can add like a little icon to the left or right inside the button. In this case, I'm not going to use an icon. What I'm going to do though is add a link to the services page. Instead of just copying and pasting the URL, I can just click select and then search for the page. Services. And there it is. And then I just click it. It'll automatically fill in the URL to the services page. I want the link to target a new window. So when someone clicks on it, it opens in a new window so they don't lose this page that they landed on originally. And then I'll change the style a little bit. So I want to align it in the center. And then I want to give it a background color of the blue. I want it to be blue and not orange because I don't want to take away from the importance of the submit button of the original form. So that should be orange, but this button way down here is a little less important. So I'm going to give it the good old blue background and then make the text white. And there you go. All right, the final thing, and this is kind of an advanced move, but if you got comfortable with CSS when we changed this button here, then you should be able to be comfortable with this as well. But what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the navigation menu at the top, and we're going to get rid of the footer at the bottom. The reason we do that is we want to remove any kind of distraction from the person doing the primary objective of this landing page, which is to fill out this particular form. So in order to do that, we can just, again, use the developer tools to highlight the nav menu, see that it's using the class nav-primary. So what I'll do is I'll go to Tools, Layout CSS. I'll do .nav-primary, open bracket, new space, and it's display : none, and then do a close bracket. Once I did that, you'll notice now the navigation menu is gone. And then I'll do the same thing with the footer. So let me save that. Let me open Developer Tools. I'm going to inspect the footer. That class is footer-widgets. So I'll return to my CSS editor and I'll add .footer-widgets, open squiggly brace, display none as well. Now the footer is gone. So now we have a landing page, no navigation menu, no footer. Very simple, straightforward way to get people to fill out the form. When you're done, just click Done and Publish Changes, and that will save your changes, and then you will have a landing page that looks like this that you can then create Google AdWords ads, Facebook ads, whatever kind of ads you're experimenting with. You can send all that traffic to this page, and rest assured that the conversions will be a lot better than if you were to just send them to your home page or to one of your regular services pages. And then you can continue to tweak this. So you can maybe, tweak it, change the button colors, change the pictures, kind of experiment with some of that stuff to see what works best and what works best for your conversions. So that is it in a nutshell. In about 30 minutes, we created a landing page. So you can create a bunch of these if you want. Have fun experimenting with it, but this is a good solid landing page that should bring you a lot of conversions. Hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you in the next video. Until then, here's to your success.